a real pleasure.
Yeah, Joseph is one of the super fans of the show, and he's always asking how it's gone, and so we're always going back and forth. But I'm going to steal David's question here. David's usually asking this question to our guests, but you take us back. Tell us, Joseph, from the beginning, where did that inspiration for following NASCAR come along? Was your dad really interested in the sport? Did you have uncles? Where did the passion for NASCAR and motorsports start?
Yeah, so my story's weird. I was in Toys R Us, and as you can see behind me, I have a lot of diecast. I didn't have a lot of diecast back then. Um, and I saw an M&M car. I really liked it. The week after, I just happened to be flipping through channels. I think I was in the third grade, fourth grade, something like that. 2004, that I remember. And I see the M&M car winning the race. And he ended up winning. It was Elliott Sadler, so I became an Elliott Sadler fan. I started following sport every week. My teachers and the fellow students would mock me for watching NASCAR. And eventually in high school, I went to a journalism high school. I started writing for the school paper, and I interviewed Robert Richardson Jr. You guys remember that name?
Oh, yeah.
I sure do.
Yeah.
And he was even an analyst with the Racing Experts for a little bit.
And he was on a tractor when I was interviewing him, so I could barely hear him. And I didn't have a recorder back then, so I had to write down everything. And after that, I just started reaching out to different publications to freelance for them. As you said, Rant Sports, which I don't think they exist even anymore. It was kind of like an SB Nation type. I just worked my way up. I started working for Frontstretch.com. I became a social media person, an Xfinity column every week. And then from there, reality hit. When you graduate college, you need a real job. And I went to Tel Aviv for 2 months to kind of figure out what I want to do, live the Israeli life a little bit. Came back, became a newspaper editor, ran a couple different newspapers, and then I went to work for the Israeli government. I left journalism. I became the media director of the consulate in New York, and now I am freelancing for Forbes, even still to this day, for about 2.5 years now, thank God. It's been an amazing journey, and it all started from seeing a tweet during COVID that someone was hiring freelancers, and I said, why not? And I thought I left NASCAR reporting because I just didn't want to do it anymore. I want to focus on my main things, and here we are. I've made amazing connections. I've interviewed just about every big name in the industry, every team owner, driver. It's really been a fantastic thing. And you guys were just speaking about Joey Logano. I actually spoke with him twice in the last month, because one for the USA docu-series, Race for Championship, and then he ended up winning the championship the next week. So it's pretty crazy.
Well, and you hear a name like Forbes, Tyler, I think of gold bar journalism. And I think Forbes carries itself too. Like, you think of okay, let's look at the drivers, for example. Of course, drivers are going to want to levitate towards television, radio. That's going to give them the most reach for their sponsors to reach as many fans as possible. But I would put Forbes in that category too, because when you hear that name, Forbes Sports, oh, people want to talk to Forbes. Forbes, man, so cool. You're a part of their organization. You're helping with that gold bar of journalism.
Yeah, I'm really honored to represent this company. It's one of the biggest publications in the world, obviously. It's an international name, and that comes with a lot of pressure, obviously. It's a pressure to do really good journalism, to tell unique stories. I'm very proud to say that just about every story I do comes with my own interview. I don't work off other people's quotes and things like that. I only use press releases for the most part. I just interview people and actually make relationships when I cover them, and I like to tell unique stories. For example, a few weeks ago, I told Brett Griffin's story. Brett Griffin's story had never been told before, and it amazed me that here's a guy who has an unbelievably well-listened podcast. He's a spotter and a business owner in the sport. That's a huge angle that other people don't really touch, and I'm very proud to say that no matter who I'm writing about or what I'm writing about, it comes with a unique angle.
Well, Joseph, that's pretty awesome. I mean, it says a lot about your ability and the passion you have for journalism and NASCAR for Forbes to to get you to be part of their NASCAR team or sports team. It says a lot about your ability. That's pretty good, man. That's they didn't reach out to Tyler.
Wow, shots
No,
Or me.
fired.
Yeah.
no, that's pretty awesome, man.
I'm not on Joseph's level. No,
No,
Joseph.
no, that's
Well,
cool, Joseph.
it came with a lot of hard work. I started at Frontstretch when I was still in college, and I was managing the social media pages for Frontstretch while also doing weekly interviews with lower drivers at the time, across the 3 series. And even I would spend time in the ARCA garage with people who don't even race anymore, no names. And it was a lot of hard work and dedication, but at the end of the day, I knew that I needed to invest in myself. I was very lucky that I had a mentor, Tom Bowles, who took me under his wing after I saw him on Regis Philbin's show on FS1, Crowd Goes Wild. And then I found him at Pocono one day, so I ran down pit road, chased after him, and said, I want to work for you. And somehow or another, he actually hired me to work for him, and really indebted to him for what he did to help me.
That's pretty awesome, man. It's amazing to turn the TV on and fall in love with racing from watching racing. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
And I was 8 years old. That's the crazy part.
Man, that is amazing, man.
Yeah.
So, man, what a cool story. And man, I love it. I love the work and the journalism you did and telling the cool stories. There's so many great stories. All the different characters, whether you're a crew chief, team owner, crew member, PR person, journalist in our sport, driver. There's so many cool stories, and it's cool that somebody like yourself would, you said no name drivers, but man, just I think all the race car drivers that race locally, dirt tracks, ARCA, whatever, you know what I mean? It's just, we're all one big family, really. It's a small family, and it's really cool for you to showcase their story and their abilities and what they've done in the sport. So it's pretty cool. I can appreciate what you did, and I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of my best relationships with people come back to when I was also covering local divisions. I would cover the only racing we have out here is modifieds, and a guy named Rob Blunt, he convinced me to go out to Riverhead, which is about an hour and a half drive for me on Long Island, all the way at the end of Long Island. And I covered modifieds, and that's how I met Ryan Priest. And Ryan and I talk pretty frequently, and I could see him at the track now, and it'll be like we haven't seen each other in 4 or 5 years, but it'd be like we haven't seen each other since yesterday.
That's pretty cool, man. And I'm gonna tell you, those guys that run those Northeast modifieds, man, you talking about some great race car drivers. My God, man, when I'm up there in Pennsylvania, I'm visiting with Missy and Rich Fix or Maggie Fix, and up in that area, we're racing in Dover or Pocono. Man, you go find you a good, awesome dirt track in that part of the country. Man, it don't get much better than those modified races. It's amazing how fast, how competitive, unbelievable, man. It's pretty cool. That's for sure.